Hello, welcome to the November 2020 Logos and Mythos Book Club Live. I hope you guys have had a great October. Hope you had some fun maybe this past weekend if you celebrate Halloween, if you just had some fun dressing up and giving out candy or having your kids get candy or whatever the case may be. Anyway, I just hope that it's been a great time and I hope that you have some plans moving forward into the holiday season. I know everything this year has been completely knocked on its end, right? Nothing is normal. I do hope, though, that you have some normalcy in these holidays coming up because I know that this is a special time for many families, and so I hope it will be for you. So, just to kind of have some sense of normalcy anyway, I thought we could talk a little bit about our book wish lists. So, if you are anything like me, most of your wish list when it comes to holidays or birthdays or whatever the case may be might just happen to be books. So I thought that maybe we could share a little bit of that. So if you guys have some wishes on your book list that you would like to share, feel free to chime in at any time and let us know what those are. I would love to hear about it. I want to know what's on your list, what you're looking forward to, and what you hope to maybe see under the tree or wherever you put your gifts. So I'll start out with my kids' list. Actually, I'm gonna start. With theirs first. So I have. Oh, and before I forget, also, if you have if you would like a recommendation, so maybe you are not thinking so much about your own list, but maybe you're wondering about someone who is on your list to get a gift for. Perhaps you're wondering what would be a good gift for them as far as books goes. So if you have a question about that, go ahead and drop that in the comments as well, and I will do my very best to help you. Just tell me a little bit about what they like, if they're a reader or if they're maybe more reluctant on that front, and what some of their interests are, and maybe I can help you out. So for the kids, both of my kids, and I have a 12-year-old girl and, I'm sorry, 13-year-old girl, an almost 11-year-old boy. And there is one book that is on both of their lists. And this book comes out on the 17th of this month. So you can get it in plenty of time for the holidays. And that is Keeper of the Lost Cities. It is book 8.5. So apparently, Shannon Messenger has book 9 in the works, and she decided that there needed to be a little bit of kind of in between fill in the blank kind of information. Also, people have totally fallen in love with her series. So I think that she and her publishing company both realized that people might be a little disappointed if there wasn't a new book in time for the holidays this year. So that brings us to book 8.5. I know both of my kids are very excited about this one. There's also, and I don't know if it's still available or not, but there is a thing where you can go on, if you follow her or just look her up on Instagram or even just go on her website, you can request a special little package. So if you pre-order her book, this special little thing comes with a signed book plate and a couple of other little extras. I can't remember what else in there, but definitely go check that out, especially if your kids are really into Keeper of the Lost Cities. So this is kind of a fantasy series, and like I told you guys, I think I told you last month, I have not read these books at all, but both of my kids have. They absolutely adore it. They think that it's one of the best series out there as far as fantasy and stuff like that. So there you go, Keeper of the Lost Cities, book 8.5, and I don't remember the name. I'm sure that there's a name, but you know what? Unlocked, maybe. That might be the name. I'm looking at my kids' wish list here, so if there is a name, I'm guessing it's that one. Also, my son, so I told you he's almost 11, he is wanting Warriors the Broken Code. And that's a series that he has really been into for quite a while now. The Warriors, that's cats who are wild cats, and they have clans and all of these kind of things. There's magic involved and all of that. So this is a series that's been around for quite a while, and I know a lot of kids who really enjoy this. So if your kid really likes cats and magic, this is definitely the one for them. And then my daughter, so like I said, 13, she is wanting the sequel to Saving Fable. So Saving Fable, and I honestly don't know, I forgot to look this up earlier, if the sequel is even available yet. But Saving Fable is by Scott Rennington, and I know she really loved this book. And then another one, this is Jan Kalanita. I may or may not be saying that last name right, but Calonita. The one she's specifically wanting is Flunked, but I think that this is part of a series and there are more books. Once again, I'm pretty sure there's magic involved, and she's really enjoyed these books. And I was talking to another girl who I believe, is a senior in high school, and she loves these books as well. So those might be some good ones if you've got like preteen, teenager in your household. Those might be some that would strike some interest. And my husband this is kind of funny, okay, because my entire list that I'm going to share with you is nonfiction. That's unusual for me. If you guys have followed me for a while, typically my lists have more fiction than nonfiction, but for whatever reason this year it's all nonfiction. And my husband's is nonfiction as well, and he is looking forward to The Institutes of Elliptic Theology, I hope I said that right, by Francis Turretin. So he has been reading a lot of more theologically minded books in the last few months. So if you've got someone on your list who is interested in that, then that might be a really interesting book. And I actually have a theology book on my list as well that I cannot wait to share with you guys because it's pretty special. I happen to know the author and, well, I'm related to him, so I'm pretty excited to share it with you. So, like I said, if you're just joining in or if you are watching later, like I said, please drop in the comments if you want to just share your book list, like what's on your wish list for the holidays, or if you are looking for some recommendations for someone who you would like to buy a book for. I would love to try to help you out with that. So, like I said, just tell me a little bit about them, if they enjoy reading, if they're not so much, and what some of their interests are. So here is my holiday book list. I would like Book Towns, 45 Paradises of the Printed Word. Okay, it has alliteration in the title. You know I had to fall for this. So it is by Alex Johnson, and this book gives fantastic pictures and information about towns all over the world that are focused on literature in some form or fashion. One example that I just happened to notice as I was skimming through the little look inside, that you can look at online, is I think it's called Wigtown, Scotland, and it is the most literary city in Scotland, apparently. I guess a lot of bookshops. I'm pretty sure there's like a book festival that goes on there, all sorts of different things. But these places that he highlights in the book are places that have either just really special bookstores or more than one bookstore, libraries, things like that. Places where books are really considered a huge part of the culture of those towns. So, like I said, full of books and pictures of places that love books. I'm totally sold. Another one that I actually just found today, and I'm pretty excited about this one too. This is Confessions of a Bookseller by Shawn Bythell. And I think, and I'm going to look it up right now while I'm on here so that I don't tell you wrong, but yes, Wigtown, Scotland. This one is set in Wigtown, Scotland, and Shawn Bythell tells you about his year of helping to run a bookstore in that town. And he tells you all the dirt and all of the interesting stories behind the scenes. And I just think that that would be one of the coolest things to read and learn more about. There is, and I don't know if it's this place or not, but I know that there is a place in Scotland where it is a bookstore, and it's one of those things. It's not Airbnb, but it's one of those things where you can go and you basically stay there for X amount of time, and you run the bookstore, and you live there. And I think that would be fabulous. So I don't know if it's there in Wigtown or not, but totally cool. Need to check into that. Another one that I would really like, and I'm going to clump, let's see, these two together because they're similar. One is called No Little Women, Equipping All Women in the Household of God, and it is by Amy Bird. And it's just, it seems like a really interesting look at women's place in the church. So I kind of grew up in a more conservative Christian household, Christian upbringing, and this is something that I've struggled with over the years. You know, where's my place in the church? And I know that I'm not alone because I've spoken with a lot of other women who feel the same way. So I think that this would probably be a great book for us to read. Also, the other one that I kind of think are similar here is called Girls Club, Cultivating Lasting Friendship in a Lonely World. And this is by Sarah, Sally, and Joy Clarkson. Now, Sally Clarkson is no stranger to anyone who has been involved in the homeschooling world. She homeschooled her 4 children, and she has written a great deal. She and her husband both have written and spoken a lot about homeschooling and about just raising kids and stuff like that. And her children are all adults now, and they're all forging their own ways. They're doing their own thing. Joy Clarkson is actually one who I follow quite regularly, and I love to see her posts, her tweets, and things like that. She has a podcast. And I should have looked this up. I think it's called Speaking with Joy. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. But I listened to an episode just a couple of weeks ago where she interviewed her mom, and it was so much fun. It was just so neat to see them together and to hear her interview her mom. And that episode was all about raising children to be good communicators, which I found especially interesting. So Sally has written this book, Girls Club, with her 2 daughters, and I think that just the topic of friendship among women is something that I would like to read more about, and just, I don't know, I just think it would be a really good book all around. Also, I mean, can we all get on board with the In a Lonely World part of the title? I know, like we said earlier, 2020 has been an odd year to say the least, right? And I think all of us are kind of feeling a little distanced from the people around us. So I think this might be another good one for women. All right, so rounding out my list, I've got 2 more on my list. The next one is called Audio for Authors. This is Audiobooks, Podcasting, and Voice Technologies by the fabulous Joanna Penn. I love all of her books. I love her blog. I love her posts. I love her podcast, if I didn't say that already. Just so many things. She has been somewhat of a mentor from a distance for me in my author journey. And she did the great honor to me of being on the podcast that I co-host with my lovely co-host partner, May Smith. And she came on with us and agreed to be interviewed by us. And it was just such a highlight of so many things for me. She always has great information. She gives it to you in a just wonderful, fantastic, succinct way. And she also has this ability to know what's coming, especially when it comes to technology. So I'm very interested in her information about voice technologies, and I've listened to her talk about this on her podcast. So this is the whole thing where you can have AI, either recording the voice for your book or even writing books. That is out there already. And she talks a lot about these kinds of technologies, things that scare the mess out of me, but she's not scared by it, and she embraces it. She embraces the new technologies. And so for me, it is a refreshing thing to hear, to listen to her perspective on what we have coming when it comes to technology. So there you go, Audio for Authors by Joanna Penn. And then to round out my wish list this is what I referenced earlier, The Necessity of Absolutes, the Westminsterian Doctrine of Biblical Law, Defined, Defended, and Applied. And yes, that is a mouthful. And it is by Justin Benjamin Stodgel, who is my brother. So I am very excited about this book. It is out in the world now. I had the great privilege to edit it a number of times along the way. This was his dissertation, his doctoral dissertation. So I got to edit it first when he was getting ready to submit his dissertation, and then again when he was preparing it for publication. So now Dr. Justin Benjamin Stodgel, this is his work, and it is quite interesting, and I don't say that in a sarcastic way at all. I find it very interesting, especially just seeing all of the work and the research that he's done put into this book, and just having him share the knowledge that he's come up with over the years and through his research in such a way that it's easy to understand, even for someone like me. So anyway, The Necessity of Absolutes. So definitely check that out if you are theologically minded. And let's see, I'm going to click back over here just to see if we've had any comments. Like I said, feel free at any point to, if you're watching this later, to either share your list, because I so want to know. I want to know what's on your list. And if you have any requests for recommendations, go ahead and drop that too, and I will do my best to help you out. If you do comment later, if you can tag me, that would be fantastic. I don't always get notifications, I've discovered, for people who comment later on a video. But before I wrap up, and this is going to be the last thing for tonight, but I wanted to share with you, this is a book that was on my wish list, but I couldn't wait, and I went ahead and got it, and it came in the mail today. This is another one for writers, and this is Writing Your Stories Theme, The Writer's Guide to Plotting Stories That Matter. And this is by K.M. Weiland, who is a fantastic author. I've followed her for a while. She has blog posts and a podcast and all of that kind of stuff. She also writes fiction, and I have been looking forward to this book. So obviously I just got it today, so I haven't started reading it yet, but I cannot wait, because for me, theme is one of the things that I feel like I struggle with. So I'm looking forward to learning more from her on that. So if you have a writer in your life, that might be a good book. And I'll be happy to let you know what I think once I read it. Feel free to ask me. The same with any of these books that are on my list. Audio for Authors would be the other one that would be for writers. So if you have a writer in your life, these two would be ones that they're on my list. So they might be on your writer's list too. So I hope you guys have a fantastic November. Happy Thanksgiving, since I won't talk to you on this anyway until after then. And I will see you in December. Have a fantastic night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.